Welcome to the Dr. Hutch Show. I'm Dr. J.L. Hutchison, and today we're going to be talking about a story about Tyress and Trevon at Woodridge High School. Talk about their story that happened this past week. We always try to make sure we have something that's going on in the community, things that are happening, something that we know that we can do something about. These young men, their story, their mother is Evangelist Elaine P. Jones. She's going to share with us the story of her two sons, and we're going to talk to Tyress and Trevon. They're both here. And how are you doing today?
We're doing fine, thank you.
All right. So I would like for you to tell us what happened this past week, and first of all, Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hutch. Well, on this past week, my son Tyress was physically assaulted at school. Tyress also was born with cerebral palsy since birth. He was diagnosed. And this was actually the second time he was physically assaulted at Woodridge High School in Peninsula, Ohio.
And so he would be your son to what he's
to the right of me.
To the right of me.
Mm-hmm.
And your other son
is Trevon, and he is his twin brother.
Okay.
And they both are sophomores there at Woodridge High School.
And what's the age of these young men?
They're both 15 years old.
Okay. All right. When will they turn 16?
Next month, actually.
So 15 and a half. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
And this was actually the second time that Tyress was physically assaulted. On the first occasion, Tyress didn't even tell me what had happened. Actually, I was in attendance to a parent-teacher conference, and one of the teachers actually was just asking how things went and, asking if things had been resolved with Tyress. She was unaware that Tyress had not told me. So at that time, she was actually very surprised.
He had told you what?
He had not told me about the incident.
Oh, okay.
And so the first I had heard of it was actually from the teacher, who was just asking me, really just being concerned and trying to make sure that everything was okay with Tyress. So at that point, I asked her what had happened, and she shared her end of the story. And when I got home, I asked Tyress to tell me what had happened. And he did confirm that he had been physically assaulted. He had been actually punched in his stomach by a student, and he did speak to the principal about it. And I asked Tyress, why didn't he tell me? And like a lot of teenagers, he didn't want to make a big commotion of it, and he certainly didn't want to be labeled by the other students as being a tattletale. I don't know if you know, like teen culture, that's really not a good thing, and it can invite, more trouble sometimes. Yeah. So I went up to the school and spoke with the principal, and one of my main questions was, why wasn't that incident reported to me by means of an incident report? That's part of school policy. Whenever children are in a physical altercation, both students, or however many students are involved, are part of an incident report. And then there is a zero tolerance policy, so that means anyone who participated in any physical altercation is suspended from school. So the principal acted kind of casual about it until he found out that I was not going to let it rest. And I brought a letter with me and really had to demand that he put it in the school records.
So you mean you had no notification that this incident had happened from the principal himself?
None. The school had not called. There was no incident report or anything.
Did he know about it?
Yes, he knew about it. He had spoken to Tyress.
And what happened to the other young man?
At that time, the principal claims that the student had been suspended, but because there was no documentation, no phone call or any communication, I have no way of knowing if that was true or not.
This is in a public school?
Yes, it's a public school.
A school of excellence.
And this school don't they have a zero tolerance?
They have a zero tolerance, yes.
And they feel that the parents shouldn't be contacted.
Well, as part of their student handbook, and school policy does state that is what is supposed to happen every time there is any type of incident that goes on.
And so the principal didn't have any incident report, nothing was a foul or nothing, but he suspended another child for something that had happened that he knew about, but you as a parent, you were the last person to find out anything.
Right. And so he claimed that the student had been suspended. Like I said, I don't have any proof of that whatsoever.
What kind of student is Tyress?
Tyress, according to several of his teachers during parent-teacher conference, said that he was a model student. And I was really very, very proud hearing teacher after teacher just state how he comes to class prepared. He's responsible. He brings his books and his supplies, and he is ready. Whenever class begins, he is ready. He turns in his homework in time. And one of the teachers jokingly said that if all her students were like Tyress, she wouldn't have a care in the world.
Oh, man. Well, folks, look, we have them here because this is something that goes on in our school. We have the bullying that's happening. We have all types of things where kids are posting things on Facebook,
right.
Twitter, all these different things, videos, posting fights and different types of things. And here is a young man, is a great student, outstanding individual who has a disability, and trying to make his way through school is already tough for him. And then at the same time, we have the teachers and the principal are negligent in their responsibilities in protecting this young lady's child. Could you tell us what else happened? Did anything else happen to bring you to this point, to bring you to the show today?
Yes. Not only did Tyress do the right thing after the student punched him in the stomach, let me just roll back a little bit. After the student punched him in the stomach, Tyress did not hit the student back. So that was a good thing.
So no retaliation?
No retaliation, and none of that.
He respected and responded to the zero tolerance,
right.
Not to get himself in trouble.
Right.
What had transpired? Was anything said?
Yes, this child, the guy that hit Tyress told him that he knew that he could beat him because, he was handicapped or whatever.
And this is the kid that punched him in the stomach?
Right.
Okay.
And so now we come to this past week. There was another incident.
This is the week of May
6th.
May 6th, okay.
And then Tyress was in the locker room, to my understanding. I'm trying to just quote this like he told it to me. Of course, I wasn't there, but in the locker room, the student exchanged some words with Tyress and then jumped up and grabbed him. And at that point, he let him go. But then after class, he came up to him again and physically attacked him, grabbed him, and shoved him. And this child pretty much said the same thing, that he knew he could take him because he's disabled or whatever.
Can I ask Tyress a question? Tyress, did you have any words with this young man?
Not much. It was just like he was talking, and I just completely ignored him, and before I knew it, he got in my face trying to grab me.
Oh, okay. Oh, go ahead.
Yes, and so at this time, Tyress did not hit the student back this time either. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. It was during the period where you passed to another class. Tyress went directly to the principal's office. He first ran into another administrator who who asked him what happened, and then he eventually saw the principal and sat down with him and told him, the story and what happened.
So why would he punch? Why would the kid get in his face? What happened? how was he identified? Was it based on his race or his disability? What did they say?
Yeah, basically because of his disability.
What did he say? Did he say anything?
Yes, he said that he was disabled and he knew that he could take him, same thing as I can beat you up or whatever.
So he targeted him as an individual with a disability.
Who couldn't.
And he's the smallest person in the class.
Yeah.
So that he could take advantage of him.
Right.
Oh, man. And then what did the principal say in regards to this?
Well, this time the principal claimed that he tried both my numbers, but he didn't reach me. And Tyress, by the time I got home, Tyress was here. He had called and left a message on my voicemail because I was working. So I was aware of the incident. When I got in, I spoke with Tyress and he told me what happened. Again, there was no incident report.
He didn't come home with anything?
No, nothing in writing. Nothing like that. So the next morning, I went up to the school and saw the principal, and I spoke with him and asked him, was he aware of the situation? And he said, yes, it was handled, and he wasn't sure why I was there. And I told him I was there because I had spoken with him on the last incident, and he agreed that he would follow school policy if that incident ever happened again.
So you mean the principal himself, which the Board of Education put in the school, don't even follow the policy, and you as a mother have to come and remind him that he should be following school policy, and they supposed to have a zero tolerance? What kind of school is this?
I don't know, but they certainly allowed it. And on the last incident, the principal assured me, this will never happen again, Miss Jones. You have nothing to worry about. But should it ever happen again, all of the procedures will be followed.
It sounds like it created a hostile environment for him as a student. This is not just the first time, this is the second time.
Right.
And then as him being a twin, what kind of environment for the other twin? What happened? Is anything else happened?
That was actually my concern too, Dr. Hutchin. As a matter of fact, something else did happen that very same week. The first incident happened on Monday. The next incident happened on Friday. Both boys, it was like the end of the day just about. They were passing through class, I believe, the hallways to get to their next class.
Oh, no, we were still in the cafeteria.
They were still in the cafeteria, sorry, but it was time to go to another class. So another student came up to Trevon this time and said nothing to him and just punched him in the face.
Punched him in the face?
Yes, and his eye is still swollen, and it's kind of black. Could you take off your glasses a little so we can see it here?
Zero in on that.
Yeah. That's not how his eye normally looks.
Oh my God.
Right.
So he was punched based on what was said?
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Earlier, I've been talking to someone, and nothing I said directly to him, but I had said something, and he was annoyed by whatever I said. And so there was a lunch monitor who came and told me, don't annoy him, and told him to go sit down. And that was it.
Yeah. So what do Trevon have cerebral palsy too, or?
No, Trevon was diagnosed at birth with a developmental disability, and he also at that time had severe high blood pressure. So but he's recovered from that. So
automatically, as him being the brother, was this the same guy or?
No, this was actually a different guy, but the guy that hit Tyress and the guy that hit Trevon are known to be friends.
Okay, so my question to you is that I understand that your children have had some incidents at school just like anybody else would be, but it seems like the school has not responded in the way that you expected them to respond.
Not at all.
So what happened as far as in regards to the principal knowing that this young man was hit in the face for nothing? But what happened? He had to self-defend himself?
Well, after this kid that, to my understanding, who is several inches taller than Trevon and somewhat, looked like an athletic build, punched him in his face where his face was swole up. When I came in, it looked almost like he had an egg on the side of his face, on the inside of his skin. That's how swollen it was. Trevon, defended himself because the guy was going to continue fighting him. Right. So he kind of got control of the situation to disable this guy from continuing to hit him. And at some point, the fight was broken up. And of course, Trevon this time was suspended, and the other child, I can assume, was suspended. This was the only time. This time I did receive documentation of an incident report without going to the school and actually asking for it.
But this is from him being suspended.
Right.
But the child that your son Tyress had the incident as him being the victim, he didn't receive
receive one until I went up to school and literally demanded it. Okay. Because the principal sat there and asked me why was I there, because he had taken care of everything. And I said to him, we agreed on the last meeting that you would follow school policy. He said, yes, I have. That child has been suspended and he's been dealt with severely, and I've made it clear to him that he cannot do that. I said, yes, but you're supposed to give me and that child's parents an incident report. Oh, is that all you want? I said, that's school policy.
Yeah. What kind of student is Trevon? Has he been in trouble before?
Trevon's never been suspended either. Neither boy has ever been suspended for fighting since they've started school.
And then, as far as the principal himself, he contacted you to let you know of the incident. But what is it that you want right now? What's the results after this interview? What do you want the school to do to satisfy your situation? Because I feel like your kids are not protected. Mm-hmm. The school has failed them in negligence in their responsibility, especially Tyress. Mm-hmm. And now Trevon becomes a victim of, it seems like the environment is a hostile environment, right, where it's okay to pick on kids that have disabilities. Right. And this school seems like, and I don't think it's about race. No, I really don't. I believe it's about students basically taking charge and bullying other students. And mm-hmm. I feel that as I'm hearing you talk and you talk about the principal, I think this guy is out of control. Mm-hmm. I think that the Board of Education is out of control, mm-hmm. and they don't have any control over this particular high school. Right. Not saying they don't have control over the school district, but I believe that they don't have control over this particular principal.
Right.
Yes.
That's what I feel, and I think the only way to justify things or to satisfy them, since there is only a few weeks left of school and both boys are on target, I need them to be able to finish these last few weeks safely. Trevon has since been suspended. I would like his suspension to be reinstated, and I would also like for this principal to be forced to resign.
Yeah, it sounds like did you try to contact anybody as far as the school board?
Yes, I contacted the school board, and of course they said they had no prior knowledge of any of the incidents, which they said was not unusual because they don't hear about every incident. That's what they said. But
it sounds like if it's two incidents that happened. Mm-hmm. One that was prior that they had an opportunity to have knowledge about, mm-hmm. with Tyress, and the principal not following policy, mm-hmm. and you gave him a letter, mm-hmm. warning him of his situation. Mm-hmm. So I don't believe he would tell on himself if he wasn't doing his job. Right. So I can understand them not having knowledge of that. Right. But when it's an incident that's dealing with a child with a disability, I couldn't believe that a school would have something that not have a policy where it is immediately sent to the authorities or sent to somebody that's in charge, not to be kept at a level where the principal has full run over everything, and plus having a zero tolerance. I don't believe that.
And then the second incident as well, because I contacted him at the school board after the second incident. They said they had no knowledge of either incident. It had not been reported to them.
And that's the incident in regards to Tyrese. And Trevon just transpired on
this Friday, and it's Sunday, so I haven't had a chance to speak with any of the school board members. I didn't find out about this till about 4:30 p.m. on Friday, and most of the school board probably, it's safe to say they were probably gone home for the weekend.
So you mean to tell me that he gets punched in the face and suspended because he was defending himself, and his life was being threatened, because for anybody to be that size and to hit somebody and cause damage. So I know as a mother, especially on this Mother's Day weekend, you're concerned about your kids returning to that school.
I am. I'm actually very nervous about Tyrese attending school tomorrow, because Tyrese, however, has not been suspended. Now he has to get on the school bus and attend school without his brother. So it has created a hostile environment, and now Tyrese is even more isolated from the one person that he could count on, to really be there for him.
Well, people that probably hear and listen to this video or hear this story may think that, maybe the mother, maybe you don't know that your kids are troublemakers at school. Maybe they are one way in front of you, and then when they go to school, they're another way. Is it anything that you have heard from teachers responding back to your kids' behavior?
As a matter of fact, like I said, Tyrese was stated by several of his teachers as being a model student. I didn't know until recently that he actually has modeled for the school, modeled some of their sportswear as being a model student.
Oh,
and then
so the school has used him as a model, actually wearing, you have a photo of that, right? Okay.
And that's what I posted on my website. And also with Trevon, his teachers have all said he is a very polite young man, and they have complimented me on his manners and how polite he is, just always very mannerable and respectful of the teachers and respectful of other students.
So what's your website? What is your website?
My website is www.elainepjones.com, and that's ELAINEPJONES.com.
All right. So what I see, and from my perspective, I believe that there is a derelict of duty. There's a fiduciary duty that needs to happen as far as in regards to the principal protecting those individuals, especially when you have kids with special needs. Kids with special needs actually has to have that protection from the principal, whoever that leader is, whoever the teachers are, whatever. But I feel that it seems like the principal is more in control of the school than the school board is in control of their policies. They may it sounds like they have policies and things and procedures that need to be really looked into. But what has happened is that physical harm has happened to your children, not just verbally. This is things that has happened. Is it any other thing that has happened that any verbal, is your kids to get any verbal threats or anything like that?
Since all of this has transpired, I spoke with Trevon, and who's seated to my left on this side. He actually shared with me that there was one particular student who has come up to him on numerous occasions and said, "I would punch you right in your face, but that would be a hate crime because I'm white and you're black." And the student said that and then kind of laughed like he was joking and walked away. And Trevon said he didn't think nothing of it. He thought the guy was just, being a smart aleck
Well,
or
for
whatever.
one, he has said it multiple times, and two, he's pretty racist.
Oh.
So he's,
Well,
but why wasn't that reported?
well, I'm not sure. I think Trevon said that he didn't think anything of it, and he didn't mention it to me, and he probably didn't mention it to the teachers either. So now that I'm aware of that, that's a different thing.
And then it's like zero policy. This zero tolerance of not having anybody bullied. And I know they have stuff in regards to if you bully somebody on Facebook and all these
and make
different
threats.
things, and make threats, that is a violation. So it seems like your kids have been put in a hostile environment. I'm going to ask you this question, but maybe, don't take it wrong, but do you believe your kids are telling the truth?
Absolutely.
And these
Absolutely.
things have really happened.
Absolutely. I believe them 100%. They have been respectful children all of their lives. I'm not saying that they're perfect, but they have been respectful to me. They're typical teenagers as far as, video games and things of that nature, but they have been respectful. They're trustworthy, and they've not caused me any problems at the school. The only problems that I've had is these things that are going on now where they are being attacked.
All right, folks, we're almost out of time. I just thank you for joining as far as Evangelist Elaine Jones.
Thank you for having us, Dr. Hutch.
Tyress and Trevon, thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Folks, when we find ourselves in a situation where our children go to school, we expect for the teachers, the principal, everybody that's in that school, that's hired by the school board, the school district themselves, we expect them to protect our children. We expect them to communicate with us if there's any issue. It seems like there's a failure at this school. It seems like this may not be the only incident. I believe that there's further investigation that needs to go on. I think there's something going on there, because if the children that have disabilities are being bullied on and treated, and actually people are physically causing harm, I'm surprised that someone hasn't walked in that school with a gun, and that it seems like they have the freedom to do what they want to do. This doesn't seem like they don't fear the principal. They fear that it sounds like this guy is in charge and he has ran this place the way he wanted it, not in regards to the company policies or the school policies or the school district rules. We need to further investigate this. This is Dr. Hutch, and I thank you for joining me this evening. It's always good to hear what the community is doing. Real talk for real people. I'm Dr. Hutch, and have a good evening.